Good morning, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of the B&B podcast. I'm your lovable host, Bill. Brian, this is the part where you interrupt me and say something stupid.
Yeah, my name's Brian.
Now, what the hell was that? I mean, what's going on with you this morning, Brian?
Well, Bill, you wanted me to get down to the studio at 6 o'clock this morning. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I didn't even get to watch any cartoons this morning.
Brian, the way your brain works, it really is a mystery to me. Anyway, folks, we want to thank everybody who listened to our first episode, and we want to apologize to the young folk out there. I think maybe we got off on the wrong foot, and we want to make it up to you. So in honor of that, today's episode is all about the youths in this country.
That is absolutely right, Bill. We are going to be trying out some of the trends among the young folk in this country. And word on the street is you've got a special guest to help us out with that today, Bill.
I sure do, Brian. But before we bring them out, I wanted to start off this Sunday morning with a little bit of prayer. I think if we're going to be missing the Sunday service to do this show business thing, we ought to let the Lord above know that we're still thinking of him.
But we're not going to be sharing the profits with it, right, Bill?
What, with the Lord? No, Brian, he has no rights to our trademark.
All right, carry on.
Today's prayer is one of my personal favorites, verse 1 from the book of Genitalia. And it says, Lord, please grant me serenity and peace of mind. Grant me the strength to whoop ass if I need to, and grant me a small loan of $1 million. Amen.
Amen.
I think one amen is enough, Brian. On today's episode, I am so proud to say that I have my daughter Chelsea here with us. She's sitting in the back right now. And I got to say, Brian, I'm so blessed to have her here.
I mean, children really are just a blessing all on their own, ain't they, Bill?
They sure are, Brian. Denise and I, we had kids a little later in life than most. And that's okay, Denise, she had a little trouble getting them eggs to stick, but that didn't keep us down. We kept pushing through, and we got 2 girls out of it. I mean, those are my life force. Those beautiful specimens, they came out of my balls, Brian. My balls. Now, if that's not a miracle, I don't know what is.
So, how old were you when you finally became a father, Bill?
Well, let's see. Chelsea, she's in her sophomore year, I think, and Haley, she's, I want to say somewhere between 7 and 15 years old. I think that sounds about right. So I would have been about 40, 41 years old when I became a father. And my wife, Denise, I think she was about 19. Yeah, so just a couple of late bloomers, really.
And before Denise got pregnant, you guys never considered adoption?
Oh, absolutely not, Brian. Let me ask you something. You ever been down to one of those adoption centers?
I can't say I have, Bill.
Set up just like a pet store, Brian. I swear to God. They got them all in cages down there. They're eating oatmeal out of buckets. I mean, it's just insanity. Now, why would I want to take back into my home? Somebody gave that up for a reason. You see, if somebody sends their meal back at a restaurant, well, I've certainly ate
Some
on
of them
it.
are
You know
pretty
what I
good
mean?
looking, though.
Brian, there is something really off about you, and I just can't put my finger
I'll
on
let you
it.
put your finger on it, Bill.
Brian, they should study you in a lab. I mean, really. Put you in one of those mouse mazes, see how long it takes you to get from one end to the other.
But what if I get lost in there, Bill, and I can't find the cheese?
You never used to be like this, Brian. I mean, really, what happened to that nice young fellow I met down at the Harley store, huh?
I don't know, Bill. I think maybe just the money's getting to my head.
You got to be fucking kidding me. All right, Douglas. Douglas, why don't you pull up the numbers for us? Yeah, pull up our revenue from the first episode. Yeah, just right on the screen there. Make it nice and big so dipshit can read it. Now, Brian, take a look at that.
Yup.
Now, we made $2.48 from that first episode, Brian.
Well, Bill, that's more money than I've seen since my retirement.
Brian, you were a combine mechanic for 36 years. Don't tell me you ain't seen good money.
Well, to be honest with you, Bill, I've given most of my pension to my son. You know, somebody had to put him through fashion school.
And let me be clear on this, your son is not homosexual.
Not that I'm aware of, Bill.
Well, you must not be aware of much, are you, Brian? Anyway, let's go ahead and bring Chelsea out here. Chelsea, darling, welcome to the show.
You guys have a really awesome studio. I mean, this must have cost you a lot of money.
What, did your mom send you here to investigate? Jesus Christ, Chelsea, just sit out and let's do the interview.
Okay, so to start off, I was thinking you kind
Hi,
of...
Chelsea. I like your T-shirt.
Brian, we're here to do a podcast, not to commit a felony, all right? How about you just don't talk to my donor and we continue on?
Okay, so anyway, I have a list here of some pretty popular slang among the kids in my school, and I was thinking I could go through the list and have you guys sort of guess what the different things mean.
All right, we're ready for it, Chelsea.
So the first slang term is skippity toilet.
Oh, I know that one.
Really, Brian? Well, let's hear your definition.
Well, that's when you've got sort of a mudslide coming on and you just don't have enough time to get into the bathroom. So you skip the toilet. You do a little skippity toilet and you go ahead and let that big brown snake slide right down the leg of your jeans.
No, that...
Brian, are you telling me you're cozying up to me every Sunday for this show and you've got shit in your Wranglers?
Well, I thought, everybody goes once in a while.
You know what? I think that's enough of the slang terms. Chelsea, thanks for coming on the show. We're going to go ahead and cut to commercial break.
Bye, Chelsea. I like your hair.
Brian, I will beat your fucking ass so hard. Howdy, folks. Today's episode is sponsored by our good friend Douglas. We literally could not get anyone to advertise on our show today, and we're losing a lot of money here, so Douglas went ahead and chipped in $25 to keep the show running. Thank you, Douglas.
Thanks, Doug.
And Douglas would like us to let you know that you can find him on Facebook, Instagram, and OnlyFans, where he posts content of something called sounding. So check him out. Sounds like he's a good singer. Check out some of his songs.
Sounding? Well, he must be a good singer.
Speaking of Douglas, he's going to help us out with this next section. While we were researching some of the popular trends amongst the youth of this country, we came across something called vaping. And we're going to try that for the first time here on the show and see what all the rage is about.
And here he is now, our man of the hour, Douglas, here to provide us with our first vaping experience. Thank you, Douglas.
Now, from what I understand, vaping is some sort of robotic smoking device.
Oh, yeah, Bill. It is all the rage with the teenagers in this country. My son actually owns a collection of them, and he has a lot of fun with them. I don't understand them. Back in my day, we used to smoke real hard cigars, and that was good enough for us. We never had any problems with them.
So that testicular cancer you had was unrelated?
Yeah, Bill. I mean, the doctor even said that cancer was just a matter of my balls being too vague. The cells were rapidly multiplying, but chemotherapy took care of all that.
That reminds me, I had a situation once where my balls were too big for my jean shorts, and they were just rubbing right on that seam there. And I swear to God, I have a strip down the middle where I just can't grow hair anymore. It is completely peel free. And what? I'm kind of proud of it. It's something unique that not a lot of people have.
Amen to that, brother. I've seen that hairless strip of yours, and I gotta say, it looks real good.
I'm going to go ahead and pretend you didn't just say that, and let's just get right into it. Let's take a hit of this fable. What do you call this?
It's called an elf bar, Bill.
An elf bar, Douglas? All right, well, let's go ahead and give this elf a try. Holy shit, Douglas. I haven't felt this good since the seat of my tractor vibrated. Brian, go ahead and get you some of that.
Oh, yeah, I get it now. Douglas, ready to buy one of these.
Now, Brian, wait just a minute now. Douglas, are there any negative effects to this vaping stuff?
I mean, nothing huge. You got your typical lung cancer and heart disease, and, I guess it could wear down your brain a little bit.
Yeah, Brian, there ain't much left to wear down for you. Douglas, come get your little gnome bar or whatever you call it.
Elf bar, Bill.
Yeah, whatever. Douglas, come grab your elf bar and take it back to the North Pole before dumbass over here starts fire breathing.
You got it, boss.
Man, I really liked that thing. I'll kind of get me one of those for myself.
Brian, the only thing you need to get is a psychological evaluation and a clean pair of Wranglers. God damn it, brother, I can smell that shit on you now.
Yeah, I might have done a little skibbity toilet while we were sitting here.
Well, I think that's a perfect time to end the show. Brian, what did we learn about the use today?
They're really on to something with this elf bar stuff. I mean, I'm getting a little itchy right now. I might need Douglas to bring that thing back.
Douglas, why don't you go ahead and call his wife and get him a ride home? Moral of the story today, folks, we're not in this judge the kids in this country. Maybe they are a little bit stupid. Maybe they're nothing like we used to be when we were kids. But I'll tell you one thing. Ain't nobody in this world dumber than Brian.